Welcome back to B&B Studios, where Berner and Barthy will talk all things happening in the Central Coast Rugby competition. Good chat, good footy, good fun. Take it away, boys.
Welcome back, everyone. We're hoping that you heard that additional intro. Barthy, we're trying to work his phone in the intro there. Thanks, Tomo, first of all. And apologies, Tomo. I don't know what Barthy was doing on his phone. During your beautiful intro, as always.
Apologies, Tomo. Mate,
First of all, no video today. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice there's no video.
Yeah. What's that, mate?
Complications with the cable again. No one is a stranger to this issue that pops up from time to time. We are in the studio together though, so that the audio will be better. But yeah, cable issues today. So
most important for our listeners and supporters to know, I'm not to blame yet again. I was to blame for the intro if that came through, but if it didn't,
they wouldn't know.
How's your week, pal?
Week was good, mate. Some interesting results on the weekend.
Yeah,
we got some rain around now, which makes things a bit interesting.
Hey, I told you it was coming, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. About 6 months too late, but you did tell us it was coming. Some important results moving forward. So let's get into it. We're gonna get someone on the phone as well.
Yep. So, mate, great weekend. Good weekend of rugby. Some close results. Let's quickly run through them. We've got a very special guest waiting on the line. And
what do you want to start off with?
Let's start off with the Avoca Beach Sharks. Thanks to Gus and the team at Erina Podiatry.
That's what
I tell you what we've also got to do. We've also got to give out our exquisite exterior cleanup of the week.
Did we not do it last week?
No, I didn't do it last week.
Jesus.
And let me tell you where Carl said he was going to shove that pressure cleaner.
I would too, mate. We're letting him down.
He wasn't pointing at me, let me tell you.
Is that my responsibility at all?
We'll touch on the exquisite exterior cleanup of the week.
Thanks to Exquisite Exterior Cleaning. If you want to get your exterior cleaned, you know who to go to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carl and the team at Exquisite Exterior Cleaning.
You know what? And I asked Carl if he could personally clean my exterior, and he balked at it a little bit. But anyway, he's a good man.
We'll move on, Barthy.
We'll. Avoca Beach getting a tough and a well-earned victory over the Warrnambool Wildcats, 25 points to 12. We said this was going to be a tight match, and it was about on par with what I was thinking. So congratulations to the Avoca Beach side. They continue to graft on a little bit.
Yeah, I thought you said last week was a chance for Warrnambool to really hit one of the top three, but just too much class from Avoca at home, I think.
Yeah.
The team Avoca have really got to hit their straps now. Obviously, they're playing the other top four sides in these last 4 rounds. So, they've got that off to a good start. I think it was a bit damaging for Avoca if they did lose this game, and obviously going to the next one, they'd be a bit shattered for confidence. But the exact opposite of that. So,
the great thing when you're having a great season and a good season is being able to win even when you're playing ugly.
Yeah. And
that's something that Avoca haven't been able to do for quite some time.
Yeah.
And this year they're winning even though they're not playing overly great rugby, and that's a really good sign for a club. So well done to the Avoca Beach side, 25 points to 12. I'll tell you what, I didn't see this big blowout coming. Hornsby 78 points, putting on the Lake Macquarie side.
A huge win, and also how many tries we have there? I think this maybe kicked it 100%. Let's see. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. One was a team effort, I think. We've got 12, 2, 4, 6, 8. No, that wasn't. Ignore me. It was the wrong game. I thought someone had a perfect kick. It wasn't that one.
Hunter Bird's not bad with the boot.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good scoring tries as well. He got a hat-trick as well. And he's kicked 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 there, it looks like.
There we go. 30 points.
Pretty good. It's not a bad effort, mate. Good quick mass from you as well. That's a very good effort. I didn't think you had that in you.
I've been working on it most of today.
You have. But a good win by Hornsby. So massive win at home for them, and they needed a big win.
Yeah, good for their confidence getting close to the end of the season. So it was good win for the Hornsby Lions. So congratulations to them. Let's move on to the Lakes playing Woowoi.
Yeah, 50 games. Casey Woodford
played really well. He had a filled the scorecard in many ways. Casey Woodford scored a double.
Yeah,
and also got a yellow card. So really well played. Kept everyone busy on the weekend.
But Lakes with the win, 56 points to 12. what I do want to have a shot at is a couple of goal kickers here.
Yeah, right.
And you can't say who misses the goals, but Lakes 3 from 10.
Ooh, youch.
3 from 10. But on the plus side of that, they're able to get out for a lot of points, so it could have been a lot uglier for Woo.
Yeah.
So 56 points to 12, and that's a nice win for Lakes at home. They got Lake Macquarie this weekend, and they got the bye as well, so they can get a nice win against Lake Macquarie and then into that bye, and that's their season done. So good way to end it for the Lakes.
I'll tell you what, that phone call means, or that ringtone or whatever to call it, that means that someone's about to ignore my call.
And he's not going to pick up, is he?
We'll see how he goes. Is he
Hello,
with us?
Bobby.
Here he is, Andrew Moseley. Well done, Mose. We were debating whether you were going to miss our ignore my call.
I would have left the call, Mose.
Oh, I thought Cross on the line.
Mate, welcome to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Moseley, absolute legend of the Central Coast Rugby Union competition, a superstar of yesterday for the Gosford Red Devils. I've seen him play third grade, and I still stand by my third grade this year, mind you. I still stand by my my stance as a superstar from yesteryear. And to tell you the great thing, Mose is such an absolute legend of the Gosford Rugby Club. And I said, mate, we're short. Well, I'm only wearing 10. So he ran out as a 5'8" in third grade.
First and last time, Barbie, ever.
Mate,
yeah, now go on.
Yeah, I was going
from that.
Yeah. Mate, you're obviously involved in a bit more of an official capacity in the club this year after a tough couple of years gone by. But, mate, this year, the Red Devils are sailing again, mate. They're going outstandingly well. You're heavily involved. Just let the community know, and what's the secret? What's been the key to success in turning around the Wildcats this year? The Red Devils this year.
That's okay. Look, Adam Carl and I are coaching. I'm sure you probably touched on that already, but there's also been a combination of a number of factors, I guess. Having carry on, followed in first grade has, to a certain extent, benefited Gosford, and they're a great bunch of blokes. We've really enjoyed what's happened at Gosford this year, and particularly with the Gosford Carry for a combination in third grade and across all grades, to a lesser extent. But it's been a really enjoyable year this year. Everyone's been training hard, and there's a really good vibe. So I think that's sort of adding to it.
So you've been getting good numbers down to training, obviously. The demise, we've touched on it a few times in the podcast, the demise of the Wanderers has been a blessing for the Gosford club. Numbers have been strong in training.
Oh, yeah, look, they could always be better, couldn't they, Buffy? I think it's one of those things where you always get those faithfuls, that solid 20 blokes that are always there, and it's the peripheral guys who need to keep encouraging to come back. And that's the same, and when I was playing, it felt a little bit like that as well. I think a bit more so these days, but I think that's just the nature of the beast now.
And so tell us about the weekend, mate. 37-all draw against the Trojans. Tell us about the game and the finish.
It was a good game. I mean, it was a draw, put that right at the top. But look, it's probably the best we've played so far, our best all-round performance. It was 6 tries to 4 for us, so from that's quite pleasing. It was very physical encounter, and I think Terrigal were probably a little bit scratchy after a couple of quiet weeks. Look, we're heading in the right direction coming into the semis. So we were physical. Our defence was strong, and we created some holes and finished them off, which is really pleasing. The try was sort of, I guess, on the full time hooter, and it was quite wide out right in the corner. So Shaw's had a bit of work to try and knock it over, but unfortunately couldn't get the job done. But as I said, that's probably our best all-round performance so far this year. We've had difficulties sort of having a cohesive team. Like we feel like we've had a different 15 every week. Just getting that cohesion amongst the players has been challenging for us this year. But it was a good day on Saturday.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're getting some cohesion right at the right time of the season, heading in, 2-3 weeks out from the semi-finals. So all's looking well for the Red Devils and how you're tracking. Mate, you've been around the coast for a long time. You've been an outstanding leader for the Red Devils and also just the Central Coast in general. Who's been impressed? Who's really impressed you this year at the club, and I guess what they're bringing. Who have you seen? Someone new and someone you think stepping up a little bit from your opinion this year?
Well, stepping up, I'd say Josh McGuinn for sure. Mac has trained harder this year than he trained when I played with him.
It's not hard.
And but Mac has been awesome. He's been a real leader, and the quality of his play has been outstanding this year. He's been one of our best every week. So Mac is certainly a guy that has got a lot of experience and is showing it week to week. In terms of the newcomers, look, Mitch Parker, Terry's especially known, he's been really strong. Callum Mildren's been awesome too. He's been really aggressive and really strong. Joel Wagner, who's made a switch to hooker this year, has been really good for us as well. He's got a bit of injury at the moment, but hopefully he'll be back soon. And obviously Ben Shelley's a class player. His speed and skill around the edges of the ruck has been great for us. So, they're the big guys I'll be talking about.
And, mate, massive weekend this week. You got Warnervale up at Wangara. What are you expecting from them?
Physical. I'm sure it'll be physical. They've got a lot of strong ball carriers in the forward pack, and they've got a lot of speed and size out wide. So, I guess that's probably we've got to make sure we've got our tackling shoulders on and try to chop guys where we can. But it'll be a physical contest. Obviously, a fast field up there as well. So there'll be a bit of running rugby. And hopefully we can take the sort of skill and class that we had on Saturday against Terrigal that game up there.
Well, mate, all the very best, Mose, for Saturday. Go well. Hope the Red Devils continue on the momentum that you and Adam have worked so hard to get in, and it's right at the right part of the season, as we just said. And last thing, mate, before I let you go, see, it wasn't that painful to come on the podcast, was it?
No, mate, it was fine. It was fine.
we took it very easy on you, and let me tell you,
mate, I appreciate it.
And when you hang up, we won't be taking it easy on you. I'll give you a tip.
Yeah, right. I look forward to listening to it.
Good on you, mate. We appreciate it, mate. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, brother.
All right, Andrew Moseley. Hey, and in the Fettingham Stakes, one of the
I still have nightmares about his shoulders. He had that tackling technique where he gets down low and he's just running near and you're like, oh! Both hurt the same.
One of the absolute greatest humans on the Central Coast in regards to the rugby community. Outstanding rugby player. Led the Red Devils to premierships. Led them for a long time. Played a lot of good years with the Gosford Red Devils. Just an absolute ripper fella. And I'm really happy to see the Red Devils going well. And it's by no surprise that they're going well under his and Adam's guidance and leadership. And I can tell you one thing, if anyone's on the periphery of sort of whether or not they're going to get in and do it, if Gosford got better numbers and bigger numbers, that club would be at the heights of success again with those two leading it. They are two absolutely outstanding, not just human beings, but really good rugby brains. And I tell you what, if you're thinking about playing rugby or you know someone who is, get down the Red Devils, because I'll tell you what, you'll get some good schooling down there. So by no surprise, the Red Devils are going really well, and it's through guys like Mose.
Adam Carlisle also just represented Australia in the World Cup, as we spoke about before. And
it was the over 75 stuff.
It was the over 75s, but he did win the over 75s Oztag. He did. So he just represented his nation, and brought home the over 75s.
And you know
trophies.
what? And a big congratulations to Carlisle too, because he was 72 and he was playing up in the higher.
And that's hard to do.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
Actually, was it playing down? So he's 78 playing down in the 75, something like that. But there you go.
Good people. Mose is the hardest, by far. If anyone says who have you played against that hits the hardest, he's by far it.
Yeah.
Just every single time, just never missed, and just hit hard that every time you run on the ball.
The greatest thing about Mose was he would hit ridiculously hard, clean, and would never go on with any shit afterwards. You know what I mean? Just the type of guy who would just let his actions do the talking.
Yeah. Didn't
need any big bravado, wailing around and the whoo and the hoot and hollering and all that sort of crap. He just got in and got the job done.
Yeah, I was too winded to do anything after. On to the women's, mate. Actually, let's cover off on the ladder for the men. Sorry, after those results. So again, just recapping the results: Hornsby beat Lake Macquarie 78-5, Lakes beat Woiwurrung 56-12, Avoca beat Warnervale 25-12, and a draw between Gosford and Terrigal 37-all. It's the most amount of points conceded by Terrigal. So well done to Gosford there. Attacking
Well,
flair.
I tell you what, it's not often you get to score 6 tries to 4 against Terrigal.
Yep.
And not get a win. So
yeah. Okay, so Avoca first place on 62, Terrigal second on 61, Razorbacks third on 57, Warnervale fourth on 42, Gosford fifth on 42. There is 1 point difference in for and against. Warnervale are on 243 and Gosford are on 242.
And they play each other this weekend.
Hornsby in 6th on 23, Lakes 7th on 18, Warwick 8th on 7, and Lake Macquarie 9th on 5 points. So let's go on to the women's. Their results of the round, thanks to Gus and his amazing team at Erina Podiatry. Avoca get the win over Warnervale 38-0.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of the Avoca side we've, I guess we're hoping to see leading into the semi-finals.
Yeah.
So, a good performance by the Avoca Beach women.
Probably as expected, maybe.
Yeah.
Lakes with the win, 82 points to 0 over Woy.
Mate, I'm just happy it wasn't 28-0. Saw awesome photos through the lady of the ladies of Slade. I think their Instagram.
Ladies of the Lakes.
Ladies of Slade. Is it?
No, I'm going to.
I think it's going to. And I'll
one of us has got to be right, so I've got to look it up.
I'll accept your apology live as we record this.
The Ladies of the Lakes. Nothing to do with Slade at all.
Sure, there's not Slade in there?
No. There's a pin that says Central Coast Slade Park, but no, it's not.
There you go.
I'll accept your apology at any time, mate, written or verbal.
Okay, I'll write it down. I wish we had.
And you know what? The Ladies of the Lakes will accept your apology at any time as well.
I will apologise to the Ladies of the Lakes because they scare me more than you do, and I'd be more worried about retribution from them than you.
Yeah,
but
great.
Mate, I'm just happy it wasn't 28-0, but it was awesome to see. The socials and girls getting together and that sort of stuff. So well done, all involved.
Lakes giving Woy players as well to just play out the game, so that was awesome. And then the most exciting game, we said there could have been a sniff of an upset. And it was close, but again, just too much at the end for the Razorbacks. Terrigal win 33 points to 24.
Yeah, what a cracker. 5 tries to 4. A couple of penalty goals, not penalty goals, I beg your pardon, a couple of conversions being the difference there. But a good competitive game. And you know what? If I was the Razorbacks, I'd be going, yep, sweet.
Yeah, you'd be happy with that because it doesn't really do too much for you either way.
It gives you, I tell you what, it gives you a good sight for the semi-finals and what you got to improve on. And they've just got to ensure they keep winning and keep putting in performances like that to ensure they get a semi-finals spot.
Yeah.
Hey, just while we, I'm going to save it for later on.
Save it for later on.
I'm going to give a special lady from the Lakes a shout out later on.
The ladder. For women's, Terrigal in first place in 75, Avoca in second on 65, the Lakes in third on 58, Razorbacks in fourth on 37, Hornsby in fifth on 30. Sorry, Razorbacks are in fourth on 39, Hornsby's in fifth on 37, Warnervale in 6 on 20, and Woy last on 1 point. So there are 2 points between Razorbacks and Hornsby. That's really what we're looking out for. Yeah. Everything else is solidified.
Give me Avoca Beach and Lakes.
Avoca's 65.
Yep.
Lakes are 58.
Yep. And what are the 2 games remaining?
For those 2?
Yeah, because I think Avoca play.
Avoca have Razorbacks and Terrigal.
Okay. And who do Lakes have?
Warnervale bye, so they can't.
Okay.
They can't get enough because they've got the bye.
Oh, that'd
be a sneak in if they can get that.
Yeah, that'd be.
It'd be doable as well because Avoca have every chance of losing those last 2. They're tough 2 games as well.
The bye cruels them. So
yeah. So third place locked up for Lakes, but Razorbacks and Hornsby for that 4th, 5th spot. That's where it's going to be very interesting. It all comes down to this weekend. So let's get into the preview of round 17, and we'll start on that game. Hornsby take on Terrigal. So Hornsby have to win this weekend.
Yeah.
They're currently 2 points behind the Razorbacks. The Razorbacks have Avoca. So Hornsby have to hope that the Razorbacks lose to Avoca and they have to beat Terrigal to leapfrog. And next week, you would think they're both going to win. Hornsby have Woy and Razorbacks have Warnervale. It's got to come down to this weekend. And Hornsby, they have no other option if they want to play finals footy. They've got to beat Terrigal at the Haven.
Well, there's one thing I can guarantee you, Bernie. You never assume anything when it comes to rugby because you know when you assume.
You make an ass out of you and me, Barthy.
Exactly right. And I'm just going to give you a horrifying story for myself when I was coaching back in the day. We came last game of the season, I'm going to say maybe 2010, 2010, thereabouts, maybe 2009, 2010, 2010. And Terry we'd had a bit of a rebuilding sort of time, just putting a few things back in together and getting to enjoy the rugby again.
Is that code word for shit results?
Sorry?
Is that code word for shit results?
A little bit. And I think we're running fourth at the end. The last game of the season, which was against North Lakes. That's what they were called, North Lakes, back in those days. And North Lakes weren't running real hot, pretty similar to what they are this year. And the Terrigal side got absolutely pantsed in the last game of the season at home at the Haven. No excuses. Got absolutely pantsed, and they missed out, or we missed out, as I was coaching at the time.
Finals.
We missed out in the finals. And I'm going to say 24-12 or something along those lines. We lost, maybe 28-12, something. But we were never in the hope. We got absolutely schooled, just swaggered out there thinking they could just go through the motions and do it. And remember Brenton Law? Just
played outside centre and just teared everyone up.
Just tore us to shreds. And the whole North Lake side played very well and absolutely deserved the victory. But never assume anything as you head into the semi-finals. So Brendan Law, if you're listening,
he's a long time listener.
Yeah, he is a long time.
Just call him Big Rig. That's the first game, Terrigal against Hornsby. Who are you tipping?
Women's men's.
Women's
stage at Terrigal.
Yep,
I'm tipping the Trojans
to beat the Nalas.
Yes. I only give the Nalas hope if they, again, I'm going to harp on it, but that's the key to the secret of their success, or there's no secret to it. It's the key to their success. If they can bring the women up that they played on Nala Day, on the Gala Day at Carryong Oval, they can bring all those women. I think they're half a chance. I really do, but haven't seen it. Too inconsistent, and the Terrigal Trojan women will win this match.
I agree with you, but I like a heartfelt story. I'm going to back the Nalas.
There you go.
I'm just
calling for it.
On the back of absolutely nothing. I think that team will be stacked this weekend. The girls will get around it.
Well, they have to.
It's going to be a good day to play in Terrigal. Yeah. Terrigal is an amazing venue. Be a good night after it out there. I'm going to tip the Nalas for an upset, hoping that they have a stacked team. The team that we know can trouble anybody.
That is going to be. That's going to be the secret if they're going to do it. Like, they have to have their full strength squad, because it's a bloody good squad when they all show up.
Yep, and I'm hoping Terry will have a few out on the back of that as well.
But they also play better rugby. They play. I mean, it helps.
100%.
It helps when you got a bit. When you got a higher class athlete running around. But the style of rugby they play is a better brand of rugby.
Yep.
And having those women help that. But unless they've got them, I've got no interest in them.
Yeah, I think it can either be a tight win to the Nalas, or it can be a 60-point job to Terrigal.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards 60 points.
Yep. The next game, Warnervale host Lakes.
Well, another battle of the North for the women.
2 weeks ago, it was 61-7 to the Lakes.
We saw a resounding victory to the Lakes during that round, and I think we're going to see it again. I think the Lakes are really going to grind in the Warnervale women into the ground. My Wildcat women, their last chance, the Lakes' last game, I should say, before the semi-finals. So they'll be looking in to put in an impressive performance and get themselves running hot. But I see the Lakes women winning this.
Yeah, I think Warnervale have had 4 wins this season. 3 of them have been against Woy Woy. One of them's been that game against Lakes. I think Lakes will put on another big one here. Especially, I think they'll be keen to do it at Wangara. And last game, mate, Avoca host the Razorbacks.
What a cracker this is going to be.
This will be an absolute cracker.
If you don't have a game of rugby to go watch, get down and watch that at the Hazlitt Oval at Avoca. I think it's going to be a really good game, and I'm really encouraged by the results of their efforts against Terrigal, 24 points to 33. Just going down narrowly, like I was saying, not many teams have scored 4 tries. I reckon if you went through the season, maybe only one game they've had 4 tries scored against them, Terrigal. So outstanding effort by the Razorbacks. If they can continue that on, I think they're a real good chance to knock off the Avoca Beach side.
Shani Mason's also in awesome form.
Yeah, killing him at the moment.
Hat-trick on the weekend as well. Mate, I'm tipping Razorbacks here.
Yeah.
I think on the back of last week, I think they're hitting some really good form, and they are they have no right to win from where they've been. You know, they're really on the up.
No. See, I reckon they've got every right to win this year because they have grafted and worked their way into some really good football.
Correct, but the first half of the season we weren't. They were not a threat, and now I see them as a threat. I think they are a genuine threat. They're just not getting the wins at the moment, but they are. It's not like they've been there all year. They've only sort of. It was really what clicked for me was on Nala Day at Carrong Oval. That was the first time we kind of watched them, and the results they just pumped them, and they didn't have anyone in the team that I really recognised. Well, a couple, but they didn't have Lorna Martin, and they didn't have Ellie Dark either. So
she was back playing on the weekend.
Yes,
so
and they're two players who are pretty critical to their team. They're absolute weapons.
Yeah.
They didn't have them, and they put on massive scores. So I'm tipping Razorbacks this weekend. I think it'd be obviously a very close one. Evoca's hitting their straps as well, but I'm going Razorbacks.
Yeah, I think a full strength Razorback side, like we mentioned last week, can trouble the top teams, and I think I'm still not convinced Evoca are playing the best football they can. I think last week will be a good opportunity, for them to blow out the cobwebs a little bit. But yeah, I'm with you, mate. I think the Razorback women, providing they didn't put all their eggs into last week's basket, if they can grow from that and they're fit and healthy, I can see the Razorbacks causing a bit of an upset too. So yeah, I'm gonna go with you here. Razorbacks to upset the Evoca Beach Sharks at home.
All right, so games again. Terrigal host Hornsby. As Barthy just answers that call.
Just live and recording now. Lee Sullivan, a life member of the Terrigal Trojans, and at the moment, as we're speaking, Sully, we're just going through our predictions for this week's rounds. So whilst you're there, Berner, this is former premiership winning coach of the Terrigal women's sevens about 3 years ago, I think. Sully,
I'll go women 10, mate.
Thanks for joining us on the podcast. Don't correct me ever again. And what tips are you going to give us this week? What do you got, Berner?
I'll go through the games if you're nice and slow for you, Sally, and then you can give me the tips. Evoca host Razorbacks, Terrigal host Hornsby, and Warnervale host Lakes. What's your tips there for us?
I go Arimba.
The Razorbacks.
Razorbacks. Oh,
the Razorbacks.
That's awkward. Razorback.
Yep.
Trojans. And what was the other game?
Warnervale and Lakes.
I go Warnervale, Wildcat.
Go on the Wildcats.
Wow.
Go on the upset. There you go.
Very done.
So I'll tell you what, Sully, it's been great to chat with you, and I'll call you later and we will chat socially then.
See you, boys.
See you, mate. There goes.
I'm going to turn your phone down because that scared the shit out of me, and I don't know if it's going to scare the shit. Would have scared everyone else who was listening to it.
There goes an absolute champion friend of mine.
That was great. It's like someone walking in the room and just telling them to shut the door on your way out.
I love that bloke like a brother. He's an absolute champion.
He's a great man. On to the men's, mate. Okay. Terrigal. So we got 4 games this weekend where we have the bye. Much needed. Tough season. Terrigal host Hornsby.
I see this is an important game for the Trojans, and I think they really need to target this match and next week's Evoca game. This week's going to be critically important because they're not running out of time, but there's not much time left to get things right. And knowing Michael Farrelly, the Terrigal coach, he will pretty much have dotted every I and crossed every T in preparation. I think it'll be a very, very, very tough day for the Hornsby Lions.
I agree with you on that one. They've really only got this game, and then it starts finals for them. They've got the Battle of the Beaches the following week at the Haven for the last round. I'm with you on that. Terrigal with a big win for me against Hornsby. Lake Macquarie host the Lakes.
Battle of the Lakes.
Battle of the Lakes. I thought about this, and I thought, well, maybe this is a chance for Lake Macquarie to get the second win of the season. But I'm tipping a massive win to the Lakes just because it's their last game.
Yep.
They're out of finals contention.
Yep.
It's going to be a great day for them, and that obviously ends their season. So there might be some festivities over the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how they're going in lower grades, but I can't see them. No, so they're not going to trouble the finals in the lower grades. They're sitting in 5th.
Yeah, Lakes for me. There's too many good quality rugby players in that Lakes outfit to not get a victory over Lake Macquarie. And excuse me, if Lake Macquarie are to come away with a win, I believe it will be a fairly large upset. Yep. But the Lakes for me.
All right, and the next two games, Warnervale host Gosford.
Well, this will be a good game, and I think the Wildcats are every chance here. We spoke to Mose and he spoke about the fact that how well the Gosford Red Devils have been travelling. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of hangover comes from this game, from a near upset, and a big upset at that too, knocking off the Trojans. Playing outstanding rugby, as we've touched on several times, scoring 6 tries against the Trojans, outscoring the Trojans 6 tries to 4. They're definitely playing some good rugby. I think Warnervale at home, I think it's their last home game for the year, so it'll be a big game for the Wildcats.
It's their last home game until next round when they have a home game.
Yeah, well, it's called the penultimate home game.
It is the
year.
penultimate, which is always the biggest home game of the year.
It is. Everyone knows the penultimate home game is the best one.
Yeah.
So, forgetting everything I just said, because none of it was true, except the fact that it's a penultimate home game, I actually think the Wildcats are every chance. I really do.
I think they're so evenly poised. In speaking to...
Thanks, Scoop.
Yeah, thanks, mate. And sitting in 4th and 5th on very similar
1 point difference.
1 point, literally one point on the same amount of points and 1 for and against difference.
Wildcats have to win because they've got to prove that they can beat a team in the top 5.
Yeah, they haven't done it yet. I think I don't know. I think this is. I can't even back one.
You got to back one. Come on.
All right, I'll go Warnervale.
There you go.
In speaking to Macro about it, it was such a blunt assessment from a Gossip perspective, and he's like, we just need to play well. That's all it is from there. But they know that they can beat any team. They've just got to play well on the day, and sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't. Whereas I think they're the difference between that really good performance for them and there's a bit of a difference. They're not super consistent.
The next thing someone like Mac is probably going to tell you is if we score more points than them, we'll win the game.
Yes, that was his next thing that he said, but they didn't do that, which he was upset about, and that's what led to the draw. He's a guy of numbers, Macca. Very good with him. I'll back Warnervale this weekend, not convincingly.
Yeah, no, neither am I, but Wildcats for me.
Yeah. Last game, mate. Avoca host the Razorbacks.
This will be absolute ding dong bell ringer. It'll be a really good game. Well, I was just about to say I'm going Razorbacks here confidently, and then I sort of stopped and went, well, Avoca kind of have the Razorbacks measure. They've had quite a few teams. They've played good rugby. I think they had a 20-all draw last time they met.
Mm.
I'm going to go Razorbacks fresh off a victory, off a bye, sorry, and the Avoca Beach side coming off a tough battle against the Wildcats. I'm going to go Razorbacks.
It's another flip a coin game, isn't it?
It is.
I'm going with you though. I'm going to go Razorbacks.
I think it'll be. I don't think the Razorbacks have got any excuses. I think if they're going to be title threats, I think they can make that statement. On the weekend. I don't think they're fresh off a bye. There's no excuses. They should be at full strength, to my knowledge. So make a title, make a premiership statement on Saturday by beating the team coming first, and you'll leapfrog them in the process.
No, you won't, unless you beat them by 30 points plus.
You never know.
It's another good statement, though, Barthy. You're coming out with some good ones.
It is.
They're 50-50 calls you're coming out with. You're just on the wrong side of them today, though.
So they're 49-51 calls.
Yep. You're just not quite there today. So, again, recap. Terrigal host Hornsby. Lake Macquarie host the Lakes. Warnervale host Gosford. Avoca host the Razorbacks. We've already gone through that, so we don't need to do that.
So,
do you want a segment breaker just for the listeners?
Yeah, let's do a segment breaker.
Enjoy this.
The exquisite exterior cleanup of the week. We still haven't given that out.
Well, we're saving it to now, Barty. It's not like we've forgotten about it like we did last week.
No, it's a dedicated segment. It was going to go to Hornsby for scoring 12 tries. And then I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to give it to the Lakes for scoring 10 tries. But then I changed my mind, and I'm going to give the cleanup of the week to the Gosford Red Devils, putting 6 tries on the Trojans. in their draw. First time anyone has put that many tries on the Terrigal Trojans in quite a long time. And
Be a few years, wouldn't
it
it?
would be a lot of years since someone scored 6 tries against Terrigal. I don't have those statistics at the top of my head. And
Mate, you never have statistics. You make it up and people
Well,
believe it. So
they
can you
say-
give us a year. When was the last time there
they
were 6
say
tries scored against Terrigal?
78% of all statistics are made up on the spot. So 6 tries to 4. I'm giving the cleanup of the week to the Gossard Red Devils, putting the cleaners through the Terrigal defensive line and scoring 6 tries. And it was 6.5 seasons since Terrigal have conceded 6 tries.
Well done. Well done. What else we got this week, mate?
I don't know.
You did say that you wanted to wait for something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to give out a bit of love.
I was hoping you remembered.
No memory. You know me. I've got a memory like a fish. Jess Moroney, one of the great ladies of the Lakes. Good human, great rugby lady. Just rips in for the Lakes. She played her 50th match on the weekend
good.
for the Lakes women. And the best thing about that, sticking solid, and they're having an absolute cracker of a season. And she'll be playing semi-final rugby for the first time with the Lakes. So how
That's
good.
so good. Well deserved as well.
Good on you, Jess. We love you.
Awesome person on the Central Coast. Have we got anything else, mate? I don't think we do.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to give a shout out. We spoke about Jackson Ryan playing for the Terrigal Club, and I played with his old man, Paul Ryan. And it got me thinking too, because Paul Ryan's old man is Pete Ryan. So Pete Ryan played with Terrigal in the 70s, maybe early 80s, but definitely in the 70s when they won comps. Paul Ryan played with Terrigal and throughout the 90s, to start, I think, late 80s and throughout the 90s. Or maybe just 90s anyway. Paul Ryan, premiership winning player for the Terrigal Trojans through the 90s. And now he's young fellas playing. So, and giving a shout out to the Ryan family, and also requesting anyone else on the Central Coast community who listen to this, if you can contribute from your clubs. But I know definitely from a Terrigal perspective, it's the first 3 generational players to go through the club.
Pretty incredible.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I'll go as far as saying, well, I cannot think of any other player. I can't think of anyone else on the Central Coast doing it.
No.
And when you think about, so the Hargraves, Shannon and Brian.
Yep.
I played against Brian and Shannon.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
Oh, Brian played till he was 153. So there's a variety of fathers and sons. There's also mothers and daughters now, which is brilliant. But I can't think of 3 generational players that have done it. But if you know of some from your club, get a hold of us here at the podcast. We'll give them a shout out.
It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, so well done to the Ryan family.
And, mate, mine, I actually want to give a shout out to Grangey and what he's done at the Razorbacks. They had the luncheon on Friday.
Oh, the one we didn't get invited to.
The one we didn't get invited to with good reasons after your horrible questions last time. Such questions such as,
Mate.
How was the preseason? That invoked a lot of racial slurs.
Listen.
So I think that was completely justified, the snubbing.
What?
It's your questions, mate. How was the preseason? How was winning a comp? You can't ask that sort of stuff to people. You know what they're going to come back with. They got Drew
I
Mitchell.
wish I did knew what he's going to come back with, because bugger me, didn't that go down a freaking path that we don't want to talk about.
Blown.
Oh, fuck.
You still got
scars.
I know.
Oh,
It
mate.
was so good. That wasn't actually. It was
It
shocking.
wasn't.
It was
It was-
horrific.
It was anyway.
Matt Giddo, Drew Mitchell, Adam Ashley Cooper. To get those 3 players and bring them to community rugby, I know obviously Adam Ashley Cooper has a history with the Razorbacks, but what Grangey's done, and obviously a lot of people behind the scenes as well, to get that and bring those 3 to Central Coast Rugby, even for the people in that room to see those 3 Wallabies legends.
Yeah,
And so many of
absolutely.
them watch them,
Yeah.
growing up, and they're only just the end of their careers a couple of years ago. So that is amazing organisation to bring them to the Central Coast, and also just to organise an amazing day. So massive shout out to Grangey and the Razorbacks. And just having a look as on the socials, a couple of topless men there. And the Razorbacks beat the 3 of them in a boat race.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, good.
And the Razorbacks with the Golden Schooner. So defended the Golden Schooner against some Wallabies as well.
Yeah, good.
That's good stuff. That's solid. So massive shout out to them. That'll do us, mate. We have 2 rounds to go. This weekend, round 17. Next weekend, round 18. And then we are into finals. Just checking the forecast for this weekend, because we were a bit negative about the weather for this weekend. And we are 18 degrees, no rain. Rain will be over by Wednesday.
That's
No more
it.
rain on the Central Coast. So dry weekend, and then we'll see what next weekend brings when the weatherman can tell me that.
Well, tell you what, now this weather's been around, it's going to highlight some of the imperfections around the house you've got and around your business in regards to mold and all that sort of crap. I wonder, who do you reckon?
Especially on the outside.
Yes. What do you reckon you should do about it, Berner?
What I would do, Barth, is I'd get in touch with Carl at Exquisite Exterior Cleaning. And you can do that through
His
multitude
socials?
of platforms. You can do it
Yeah.
through the socials. You can do a website.
You can do it through us.
Phone book. You can
Yeah.
go anywhere, mate. If you
Phone
look,
book. Do they still have phone books?
yep. If you look in the phone book at home, Exquisite Exterior Cleaning.
I don't think I've got a phone book at home.
That actually surprises me, you know. I thought you'd still operate through one of those. So, and a big thanks to Carl and also Gus, obviously,
Now,
sponsoring the podcast.
One thing I can say is about Exquisite Exterior Cleaning is my in-laws used Carl, and they were absolutely raving about how good his service was and the quality of his workmanship. And they were very, very, very pleased with his work. So he got up there and I think cleaned up some solar panels and going down the roof and just made the house look brand new again. So they loved it. So I can tell you firsthand, and I've seen it too. So he's a great man and does some great work. So get a hold of him.
And Lewis. Thanks, guys. We'll see you at the rugby this weekend. See ya.